Today's episode, the 1985 Mark II Ford Fiesta. Hello and welcome to Quarterlight, your car brochure channel, the channel that brings you car brochures like these from around the world for the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s. So if you're interested in cars, looking back at cars gone by, really bringing back those memories, then please do consider subscribing. Anyway, back to today's episode, which was first aired on a Friday. We tend to do on average 3 episodes per week, and Friday tends to be our Ford Friday episodes where we look at Fords. Lots of variety, but like I say, Friday is specifically for Ford fans. I wouldn't say I was a Ford fanatic by any stretch of the imagination, but cars are all about memories for me, and of course these were the best-selling cars in the UK and in Europe at the time, so obviously there's always lots of memories that come flooding back really when you look at these old Fords, because they were really like street furniture. They were literally everywhere. Anyway, new series time. We're going to look at a full range Ford brochure, one model at a time, which means the smallest car will be first, the Ford Fiesta, which by this time was the Mark II. Now I've got quite a few 1985 full range Ford brochures for the UK, so I was a little bit spoiled to choose which to look at. They're all very similar actually, so there isn't really any point just doing each brochure one after the other, because lots of that will be very repetitive. So I thought we would first look at the earliest one, March 1985, since it has got the Fiesta on the front cover. This one's actually showcasing the special edition Ford Fiesta Dash. Isn't a model we're going to look at today. We'll save that for a Saturday episode. We used to do something called the Saturday Special, where we looked at a special edition every Saturday. We'll certainly save that model for a Saturday episode. There's also another special edition here, Escort Laser 2, which when we're looking at Escorts, we'll look at that the following Saturday. So Fiesta then, and yes, at this time, quite a comprehensive range of spec levels of Ford Fiesta actually, and that's even before you start looking at all the special editions that came in. So quite a big range of cars, like I say, very familiar range of cars really for the Ford people out there. So we start with the very lowly Popular, the Popular Plus, the L, the Ghia, and of course the XR2. There was also a 1.4S, but I believe that came the following year, so it isn't actually in this brochure, but still lots to be getting on with, so let's get on with it. So when we turn to the Fiesta section, we're greeted by this wonderful image of an XR2, which was certainly my favourite of the Fiesta range at this time. Actually, on the page before, there's a whole showcase showing that special edition Fiesta Dash. Now that Fiesta Dash special edition also appears in the April-May 85 and the May-June 85, so it was quite a long run of it. But in this brochure there's a whole showcase. We'll actually look at that another day. We're looking at the range proper today. So Fiesta, the little car that thinks big. Let's see how the range starts. So yes, it does start with the Ford Fiesta Popular. Ford's more for your money. Popular is fun to drive and inexpensive to run. So yes, this is your entry car if you wanted a brand new car in the Ford range in 85. You was a bit short of cash. This is where you would have ended up. You didn't get a great deal on any model really by today's terms, but particularly the Popular was certainly a very stripped out poverty spec version. I always think it was worth getting to at least an L, but certainly I've always liked base level models of Fords. I think Fords particularly, their base models are really poverty spec, but I find that very, very fascinating how they really had these real stripped down versions where they really needed to be that stripped down. Well, Ford certainly thought they did. We'll read the text, we'll come back to this lovely image of the interior and the exterior, then we'll go up the range. It starts by telling us gone are the days when small cars were only a little less Spartan than an SAS training camp. The new Fiesta Popular may be economical to buy and own, but there is nothing cut price about its specification. Like every other model in the Fiesta range, it has sleek frontal styling to improve aerodynamic efficiency, a revised engine and a completely new interior. The space-saving design provides ample room for 5 adults and their luggage. Other key elements include dual circuit brakes with powerful progressive discs on the front wheels, lighter and more responsive steering, a laminated windscreen and a smooth self-adjusting clutch. The suspension provides a comfortable ride allied to sporty handling and sure-footed road holding. It uses McPherson struts up front, where the track has been widened for extra stability, while trailing arms and a clever device called a panhard rod provide secure location for the back axle. The car rides on 13-inch wheels with grippy 135 SR radial ply tyres. Noise levels have been reduced by new mounts for the 957cc engine that runs on 2-star petrol. Its size may be familiar, but this version has important new features to improve economy. The official fuel figures are up to 18.5% better than those for the old low compression engine. They include 54.3 mpg at a steady 56 miles per hour and 40.4 mpg on the urban test cycle. I always think when I look at these older cars and their fuel economy figures, have we really progressed that far? But I guess the problem is today we're having heavier and heavier cars, we're having these huge SUVs and trying to make them do these fuel economy figures that these very basic light vehicles easily managed. Anyway, the all-new interior includes a neat instrument panel whose thoughtful touches extend to things like a lights-on warning. Handy storage bins on each door were previously reserved for the more expensive Fiestas. Yes, your Popular's now got storage bins or the luxury. The seats are trimmed with hard-wearing cloth and the front pair recline. Other features include twin sun visors, a carpeted load area and an anti-dazzle mirror. The long live exhaust system is typical of Ford's concern about long-term running costs. I'm thinking, I don't know, memory just came to me reading that about the exhaust system. I always think, when I think back to this time, we were always changing exhausts, weren't we? Now, when was the last time you changed an exhaust on a car? I guess that's an improvement. Anyway, let's have a look at the interior. Basicness is the key, and we'll certainly see a change of the dashboard as we go up the range, but that really is a sea of blanking plugs, isn't it? We have this little bit of a practicality of this little bit of a shelf, but really, if you got a Fiesta Popular, it wasn't really asking for too much. And there she is. Apologies for a little bit of a reflection there, and also, unfortunately, car brochures always like to give you an image on the crease. Why, I really don't know. But there it is. I've always liked the Mark II Fiesta, and I've always liked the more basic ones, as in it's a very pure, basic vehicle, really not trying to be anything other than a very basic vehicle. And you can only really approve of that in many ways, because, you know, short of cash, this thing will certainly get you from A to B. You probably got a second car anyway, so are you really worried too much about how basic it is? Notice we've only got one mirror on the driver's side there. No rear wash wipe. Anyway, let's move up the range. Logically, moving up the range takes you to the Fiesta Popular Plus. Outstanding economy plus mile-eating performance are hallmarks of this roomy, well-equipped car. Now, this particular episode is going to be a long one, as it is. There's quite a bit of a range on here, but I'm also going to include in this episode a review from which as a used car. Let's see how the motoring press viewed these budget cars, so we will certainly look at that at the end, but we'll certainly go through the full range before we get there. Let's start with the text for this Fiesta Popular Plus. It tells us, as its name suggests, the Popular Plus builds on the Popular's solid foundations by blending extra equipment with a choice of engines and transmissions. In standard trim, it relies on the Popular's 957cc power unit and 4-speed gearbox. But the alternative 1.1 litre engine steps up to 50 PS and gives a 22% increase in torque for extra pulling power at low engine speeds. In fact, an excellent 83 Newton meters is delivered at only 2700 RPM. Even more remarkable figures are provided by choosing a Popular Plus powered by Ford's sophisticated all-new 1.6 diesel engine. It combines a top speed of just over 90 miles per hour with the ability to cover 74.3 miles on just one low price gallon at a steady 56 miles per hour. Of course, this was the time when diesel was actually cheaper to buy than petrol. This new breed of diesel represents 140 million investment in advanced technology. Linked to the 4-speed Fiesta gearbox, the bigger engine gives an astonishing 57.6 mpg at 56 miles per hour and 45.6 on the official urban cycle. Like the Popular, this model takes to the road complete with lockable filler cap for the 7.5 gallon fuel tank, towing hooks front and rear, twin reversing lights neatly integrated with new rear lamp cluster and Ford's long life exhaust system. Tough body side mouldings protect the paintwork, and there are mirrors on the driver and passenger doors now. A tailgate decal proclaims the Popular Plus's identity. Inside, tweed pattern seat covers add another touch of class, and the front seats have adjustable A-frame head restraints. The fully carpeted rear package tray moulded recesses prevent small objects slithering from side to side. Folding the tray and the back seat increases luggage space. Other equipment fitted as standard include halogen headlights, a digital clock, and fingertip switches on the right of the instrument panel for the rear fog light, tailgate wash wipe, and heated rear window. The window has an element which switches itself off automatically after 10 minutes to reduce load on the engine. So certainly the Popular Plus did add a lot of, I'd say, quite necessary equipment to the car. Look on the inside. We've got quite small door cards with the metal shoring at the top there. We do have head restraints there on there though, which is nice to see. So we've got, that's another very pleasant model. It's nice to see those door mirrors on either side, both sides I should say, to at least balance it out a little bit. But yeah, a great little car, and there were certainly lots of Popular Pluses out there. But let's move up once again. Moving up gets us to a Fiesta L. Ford engine choices and high levels of trim and equipment take the Fiesta concept a step further. For me, this is all really where the proper models started. I always thought you should at least go up to an L, but obviously it's all down to your budget really at the end of the day, isn't it? We'll have a look at the text. Today personally I'm just hoping it's got a heater on there, or a good heater on there. Today in Manitoba, Canada, it is minus 31 as we speak. And apparently it feels like minus 48 in the wind. So yes, it's a particularly cold period. January is never much fun, I must admit. It goes down to an actual temperature on Saturday night of minus 39. That's without wind chill. Weirdly, I'm waiting for Monday to arrive and it goes back to minus 16, which will feel almost tropical. Anyway, let's continue with the Fiesta. Let's see what it's got to say about the L model. It tells us Ford knows that new car buyers appreciate the chance to choose an engine and transmission combined that will suit their particular needs. So the Fiesta L specifications can be tailored like a Savile Row suit. There are a choice of 5 engines and transmission systems to go with the wind cheating body. It's a little bit hard to read there. I had to kind of like think what that said. Unfortunately, put this like plant in the way of the writing, so let's try and see if we can read this. They start with the frugal 957cc power unit, which feeds in 45 or 46 PS to the front wheels through the smooth changing 4-speed gearbox. Next comes the 1.1 litre. The size and shape may be familiar, but like the 957cc unit, it belies a major redesign. To achieve outstanding economy, it can be specified with a 4-speed gearbox with computer optimized ratios or the long striding 5-speed that is one of the 1984 Fiesta's many important innovations. Excellent economy and vivid performance are provided by the 1.3 CVH compound valve hemispherical head engine, which comes complete with the 5-speed transmission. It develops a crisp 69 PS and makes the Fiesta L a 100 miles per hour car. A superb blend of performance and truly astonishing economy is the hallmark of the Fiesta L, fitted with Ford's remarkable new 1.6 diesel engine. It comes from Dagenham factory, where unprecedented quality standards are maintained by skilled technicians and space-age machines. The engine's vital statistics include 74.3 mpg at a constant 56 miles per hour. And 56.5 mpg in simulated city traffic. Like the 1.3 CVH power unit, it has a 5-speed gearbox as standard. The L's exterior is distinguished by wide body side mouldings and a driver's door mirror, adjustable for inside the car. Inside, the Fiesta becomes even more versatile thanks to a rear folding seat with 60/40 split backrest. Either part can be folded to make room for exceptionally long or bulky loads without losing all the passenger space. The fleece carpet is colour keyed to harmonise with the 5-seat material, and the front seats have padded, fully adjustable head restraints. A neat console with a push button radio is standard. Options include tinted glass and metallic paint. Interior of the L, much nicer, isn't it? Surely it's worth going for that. Nicer seats, nicer door cards, much nicer head restraints rather than silly A-framed affairs. Much nicer interior. Yeah, it's a bit dull and a bit boring, it's all grey, but still, I quite like it. And the L itself, obviously we've got these nice big door protectors, these plastic, big, aren't they? The big door protectors actually on there to really protect your car in the supermarkets, where the lower models would have ended up with, you know, dints and dents all the way around from its many shopping adventures, no doubt. Anyway, let's move up the range. Now, I've always found this one a little bit peculiar. You go from an L and then the next model up is a Ghia. That seems like a vast chasm between the two models, but of course we have got the Popular and the Popular Plus, so there is really enough trim levels, but still it does seem weird not having something in between an L and a Ghia. It tells us how to combine big car luxury and performance with the Fiesta's small car economy. And to be honest with you, they weren't really luxurious, but I always liked what they did with the Ghia model. It's still got wheel trims on there, but straight away you can see all the extra bright work, that two-tone finish, sort of this moulded overriders on the bumper. Certainly does lift it into a different type of vehicle, I always thought. Anyway, let's have a look at the text. It tells us the Fiesta Ghia may be small bumper to bumper, but it brings king-size luxury to the new version of Ford's best-selling baby, thanks to the coveted Ghia treatment. It offers the first-class atmosphere normally associated with much bigger and more expensive cars, and it offers the best of both worlds, outstanding comfort and sophistication with excellent day-to-day economy and low running costs, riding on attractively trimmed 5x13 wheels with 155/70 SR radial tyres. The Ghia has special bumpers, stone deflectors for the wheel arches, PVC type paint under the body side mouldings, and a host of other external features that make it stand out in a crowded street, including a tailgate opening by simply pressing a switch on the centre console, carpeted rear seat backs and sidewalls, fully carpeted rear boot and a load compartment lamp with courtesy switch, tinted glass, a screen glass sunroof and a 4-speaker radio cassette player with joystick balance control emphasise the Ghia status. So do the velour flanked Savoy and crushed velour seat covers, the velour carpet, cloth trimmed door panels. I think it's the velour for me that I always like in the Ghia models. I've always thought this time period, 70s, 80s, the velour seats for me were always my favourite. Never a huge fan of leather, I must admit. It goes on to tell us comprehensive instruments that include a tachometer, roof-mounted multi-function clock and extra vents for the powerful new heating and ventilation system. What goes under the elegant aerodynamic bonnet? There is a choice between a 1.1 engine with 50 PS and the 1.3 CVH unit, which develops 69 PS for even more performance allied to surprising economy. The 1.3 standard 5-speed gearbox is optional with the 1.1 engine. Small but significantly detailed include a handy coin rack, a reminder that even the Ghia can't avoid parking meters. So the lovely image of the interior, and I just want to remind everyone, if you've not already done so and you're enjoying the channel, please do subscribe. It really does keep us going. It really does give us an idea that people do want to, view this type of information, and thank you for everyone who has subscribed. But there we go, the lovely velour interior. I think that really makes it for me. It's also showing the practicality of a split folding rear seat. Pretty useful in an estate car, not an estate car, in a hatchback, as we all know. Other details is showing the badge on this silver version, which is the larger engine, the 1.3 Ghia. Ooh. And the main image in a colour that really suits it, actually, isn't it? In this metallic blue Fiesta Ghia. Those different bumpers with them overriders on there certainly gives it a completely different look, I feel. And then, of course, all that extra sort of bright work. Bright work around the windows was always a Ford thing for decades, really, wasn't it? Of, showing you've got a higher spec model because you got a little bit of bright work on there. But sadly, we do only get wheel trims on your Ghia model. One model left. The iconic XR2 in probably the best colour, red. Tame it if you can, it tells us. Always my favourite Fiesta. I always like these. They did so much with really so little. There isn't that much about them, and the performance wasn't sort of breathtaking or anything, but there was certainly something about the XR2s. I think for Fiesta and all the Fiestas really, they were a good little car, but I don't think they was ever as fun as some of the French and Italian cars that were on offer in this category. But still, I would have liked a Fiesta XR2, I must admit. There is something about them. We'll look at the text, we'll come back to the image. Text tells us Ford's hard-charging Fiesta XR2 is a little car with a big heart. Strong and sophisticated, potent and practical, its free-revving 1597cc engine punches out a smooth 96 PS at 6,000 RPM to give the scintillating Super Mini a true sports car performance. The standard 5-speed gearbox, superb suspension and grippy low-profile tyres transmit the power so efficiently that 60 miles per hour can be reached from a standing start in only 8.7 seconds. The XR2's vivid acceleration is complemented by an adrenaline pumping top speed of 112 miles per hour. Motorway driving is effortless and economical because 70 miles per hour in the tall fifth gear keeps the tachometer needle down to just 3000 RPM. Mechanical efficiency and the Fiesta's slippery shape, enhanced by front and rear spoilers, combine to conserve fuel. The official test figures include 49.6 mpg at 56 miles per hour and 37.7 mpg at a steady 75 miles per hour. Suspension is of course modified to make the most of the XR2's potent power unit. There's a rear anti-roll bar to go with the rear axle's trailing arms, panhard rod, coil springs and uprated dampers. That's the formula for superb road holding and the wonderfully crisp, responsive handling qualities demanded by enthusiastic drivers. Night driving is made easier by a pair of long-range front driving lamps. Sporting characteristics are not achieved at the expense of comfort. Ford engineers, drawing on experiences gleaned in races and rallies all over the world, endowed the XR2 with a ride that's firm and capable of absorbing punishment dished out when poor road surfaces are taken at speed. They also matched the fast-moving Fiesta's power with an equally efficient braking system, whose specifications include big fade-fighting ventilation discs for the front wheels. The wheels themselves are shod with 185/60 HR radials. Smart, functional styling is matched by an interior ideal from everything from day-long journeys to swift shopping safaris. The seats trimmed in rainbow cloth provide excellent lumbar support plus plenty of lateral location when the Fiesta tackles roads liberally laced with tricky corners. Other features on the XR2 include a neat small diameter steering wheel with a soft feel rim, two-tone horn and a grey perforated headlining. The Fiesta's big bore exhaust sings a splendid song, but thanks to additional soundproofing, the standard 4-speaker RST21P audio system can be appreciated to the full. Options include 3 seat belts for the surprisingly spacious rear compartment. Their availability is a reminder that the Fiesta XR2 is a versatile family-size hatchback as well as a sizzling little sports car. A peep at the rear and a bit of a reminder that if you got a red one you could barely see that it said XR2 on the back. Look on the interior, I like the seat design, but I always thought they could have done a little bit more to make it look a little bit more sporty. A bit more red stripes or something, surely something more for this type of vehicle. And then the front end, driving lights of course, always meant in the Ford world you were going for a more sportier model. Red inserts in the bumpers meant sort of a similar thing in the 80s of course. Love those alloy wheels, I must admit. They were a great little design choice, and of course these sort of wheel arches as well. Clever little design choice all round, I think. Now just before we get to that Which magazine and see how they were seen in the 80s, this is the spec level page. Too much information really to go into. The episode would be way too long, but I think it's worth going through each model and showing you what the optional features and colours choices you could get for each model, and also the price. I think that's worth looking at. So starting with the base model Popular, you could get a heated rear window with auto switch off for an extra £84. You could get a tailgate wash wipe for £105, but really, why bother? It makes more sense to at least go to your Popular Plus, doesn't it? Colours, only solid colours available for your base model: diamond white, cameo beige, rosso red, lacquer red, cedar green, ceramic blue and ocean blue. Only one engine choice, so only one price, £3,998 and change. For your Popular Plus, you could add as extra cost optional features: black paint for £94, Metallic paint for £109, in-car entertainment for another £85, seatbelts, 2 rear lap diagonal inertia and 1 lap centre static, £105. And obviously you can get blacks and metallics, so we have got more paint choice. Diamond white, cameo beige, Rosso red, lacquer red, cedar green, ceramic blue, ocean blue and black for extra cost are your solids. Your extra cost metallics were Strator silver, quartz gold, Nimbus grey, jade green, Paris blue, mineral blue and imperial red. More engine choices, of course, for your Popular Plus, so different prices. So for your 950, it was £4,436. For your 1.1, it was £4,667, and for your dodgy diesel, it was £5,311 and change. Optional extras for your L model was a 5-speed gearbox on the 1.1 for £148, black paint £94, metallic paint £109. In-car entertainment, you can get a fancy push-button MW/LW stereo cassette, RST 21p with 4-speaker and joystick speaker balance controls for a whopping £169. Tinted glass all round would stretch the budget for an extra £50. We can again get seat belts, 2 rear lap diagonal inertia and 1 lap centre static, £105. We can also get a sunroof, tilting removable glass, an extra £153. Solid colours, diamond white, cameo beige, Rosso red, lacquer red, cedar green, ceramic blue, ocean blue and black for extra money. And metallics of Strator silver, quartz gold, Nimbus grey, jade green, Paris blue, mineral blue and imperial red. The most engine choices were available for the L, so we have got different prices, starting with your lowly 950 being £4,852, your 1.1 £5,082, your 1.3 £5,546 and your diesel for £5,711. You could of course spend more money and go for your car you've always wanted, the Ghia, but even that came with optional features, so that 5-speed gearbox for the 1.1 £148, black paint £94, metallic paint £109. In-car entertainment had a choice: push button stereo radio MW/LW VHF stereo cassette, SRT 32p for an extra £56. Push button all electronic multi-feature stereo radio MW/LW VHF stereo cassette, ECU1, £193. Those rear belts for £105, and the colours, starting with your solid choice of diamond white, cameo beige, Rosso red, lacquer red, cedar green, ceramic blue, ocean blue and black. And the metallics, Strator silver, quartz gold, Nimbus grey, jade green, Paris blue, mineral blue and imperial red. Just 2 engine choices this time, so your 1.1 Ghia was £5,728 and your 1.3 Ghia, really pushing the envelope, £6,192 for a Mark II Fiesta. Moving to your XR2, black paint was an extra £94, metallic paint an extra £109, a sunroof an extra £153, tinted glass an extra £50, and the surprising one, those alloy wheels were not standard fit, they were an extra £152. Although most of you actually saw with the alloy wheels on there, so I don't know if the dealers just threw them on there and charged the extra, I'm not sure. In-car entertainment choice: push button stereo radio MW/LW VHF stereo cassette, SRT 32p, an extra £56. Push button all electronic multi-feature stereo radio MW/LW VHF stereo cassette, ECU1, extra £193, and the seat belts at the back for extra £105. There's a big difference though, a much reduced paint choice. You could only get solids of diamond white, Rosso red or black, and the only metallics you could get were Strator silver, Nimbus grey or Paris blue. One engine means one price for the XR2, £6,192.69. Remarkably, exactly the same price as your 1.3 Ghia Fiesta. Interesting. So that kind of like wraps up the specs and brings us to a quick look at the Which Guide. Key facts about 120 popular cars, the Car Buying Guide 1989. And because it's a car buying guide in 1989, it's looking at used vehicles, which ties in very nicely with our March 1985 brochure. How did they hold up? And here she is, and it's not a bad write-up. They're very harsh in the Which magazine, so actually not too bad. It says a well-behaved small hatchback, though lacking in room. Apparently the bodywork was lasting well in 1989. Tells us the acceleration for the 950 and 1100 quite lively. Diesel and auto fair. Engines fairly smooth and flexible. Pre-83 ones less so. Some vibration in auto. Diesels could be hard to start. Gears good. Auto not smooth if driven hard. Reasonable relaxed cruising in fifth and in auto. Pre-83 change less good. Sudden clutch. Steering usually light, precise, good feel. Handling good. Grip less good in wet and on bumps. Stability slightly upset by bumps, side winds. Brakes heavy in early cars without servo. Driving position good. Most controls and displays good, less so in pre-83 models. Visibility fair, poor visors. Seats comfortable in front, shapeless in back. Restricted legroom and comfort. Ride joggly at times. Noise fairly low except when engine revving, which is often which it often was in the auto. Pre-83 and diesel cars worse with boom. Heating bad in back. Ventilation linked to heater. Feeble in pre-83 models. And those reports are from the auto in April 88, the diesel in September 85, the 1100 in August 84, the 950 Popular Plus in March 83, the 1100 Ghia in April 79, that's going back some way, and the 950 L in July 77. Some car facts telling us that we service these every 6,000 miles. DIY average, getting spares mostly easy. Depreciation middling or low depreciation for our 950s and our diesels, weirdly. Top speed 83 for the 950, 87 for the 1100. The auto was 85 and the diesel 89. Acceleration, that's going to be your quarter mile. 20.5 for your 950, 20.6 for your 1100, 21.5 for the auto and 21 for the diesel. Reliability, surprisingly really good. Now that little circle just means it's average for faults, problems, breakdowns, days off road and serious rust for 87 and 88 models, 84 to 86 models and 81 to 83 models. Although it says serious rust is exceptional for the 81 to 83 models, which I actually found was a little bit surprising. And then buying price used, some prices there of how much you could buy these Fiestas in 1989. So for example, if 1989 you wanted an 83 Fiesta, you was paying 1900 for a 950 Popular or 2200 for an 1100 L. But yeah, interesting. Actually, I think that report is higher than I expected to see it. It seemed to be resisting rust pretty well in the 80s, which is surprising and seemed to be reasonably reliable as well. It's not appearing in the Which best buys for super minis, which it's recommended the Nissan Micra, the Peugeot 205, the Toyota Starlet and the Vauxhall Nova. No doubt the Nissan Micra and the Toyota Starlet was purely on extreme reliability. It does appear in the list for worth considering though, the Ford Fiesta. It says avoid the Fiat Panda, Lancia Y10, Renault 5 Old, Seat Ibiza, Talbot Samba and a Yugo 4555. Make of that as you will. I didn't write any of that. Anyway, we'll wrap this one up. as time is certainly moving on. I'll certainly do the Fiesta Dash and an upcoming episode. I'll let you know when we're doing that. But thank you so much for watching today. Please do take care. Please do subscribe also if you've not done already. That's completely free. And also you can become a member. We did a member only episode the other day. Gives you bits of insight of what's going on, and it only starts at a very low price. I think around about $1, so not too much a month if you wanted to do that. But subscribing is free. Other ways to help the channel: don't forget to like the video, don't forget to hype the video. Apparently that's the new thing to do. But thank you so much for watching today. I'm going to actually put in this box down here, the video will actually show all these episodes once they're all done, and then at the top box there will just be a random video. But thank you so much for watching today. Please do take care. We'll see you again very soon. All the best and goodbye.